follow the presentation. I am a teacher over at Roseman High School. Given the honor about a month ago to represent Roseman as your Teacher of the Year. So thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation tonight. So just a general overview of what Common Core is. The reason for this overview is that there's a lot of myths and misconceptions, a lot of misunderstandings about what's happening in education. So I think it just gives us an opportunity to clarify what's happening in your schools so that when people ask questions, you'll be armed with some information. We'll begin with history because I'm a history teacher, so that's what I have to do. In 2009, 48 states committed to joining the Common Core State Initiative, which was a state-led initiative to address the needs in K through 12 education in both math and English language arts. The standards were written in collaboration with teachers, school administrators, and disciplinary experts. They were released for public opinion in February and March 2010. Since the release of the final standards in June 2010, over 2/3 of all states in the U.S. have adopted these shared standards for mathematics and English language arts. The Common Core state standards provide clarity about what students are expected to learn in both mathematics and English language arts. They help zero in on the most important knowledge and skills. They establish shared goals among students, parents, and teachers. And they also help states and districts address the effectiveness of classrooms and schools, and they give students equal access and opportunity to high-achieving activities. The Common Core state standards provide a consistent and clear understanding of what students are expected to do. This has become a vehicle and delivery system. So we're not changing content. George Washington is still the first United States president. Algebra is still algebra, but it falls to educators to design their instruction in a way that is more rigorous and more relevant. We know in the United States that we are dealing with a disparity of achievement. We have children graduating from high school with A's, B's, and C's, going off to college and dropping out in the first year. This is not just a Roseman problem, this is a United States problem. We must address the deficiencies by first identifying what a successful student looks like. Once we know what a successful student looks like, we can then guide our instruction and create opportunities for these kids so that they can become problem solvers and the workforce that's necessary. Idea that falls to us is this idea that standards are not a curriculum. The Common Core state standards are not this mandate that is all-inclusive. We need to understand that standards are like a building code. Architects and builders must attend to the building code, but they are not the purpose of the design. The house is to be built or renovated according to the needs of the owner. They reflect upon the building code to make sure that they are addressing all of the needs. That means that education needs to be reflective and relevant to that student. If that student has a passion for video, then their output, their design, their product could be a video. If they are this up-and-coming pop star, like all 16 and 17-year-olds know that they're going to be a pop star, then we need to figure out ways to take their interest and help them follow and pursue that interest. Unpacking the standard. This is another big term right now in education, unpacking. This has to do with helping students understand exactly what's in front of them. Us at work, when we go to work, we're told this is what you need to attend to today. We're told, we're given a directive, we follow through with that directive. As children go to school, if they clearly understand what their directive is, then they're going to be able to attain that directive. Giving an overarching understanding essential questions and student outcomes. These are all part of unpacking the standard. So how does this all tie together? Teachers will be designing these long-term goals and difficult assignments, which require sustained power to figure and solve. We call that rigor. To stick with the problem, develop an overarching understanding of what the problem is, and then come up with a solution. The best way that I can describe this opportunity in school would be when we give students a primary source document, let's say the Bill of Rights, being the history teacher, again, we need to help them learn how to stick with a tough question. We need to learn how to give them questions that are Google-proof, that they cannot just simply put into Google and cut and paste and give us this piece of paper that someone else has designed. Because when we send these students into the workforce, or let's say we send these kids to Walmart to go buy a bicycle, they come home and they have a box and it has 1,000 pieces in it. Are they going to sit there and be able to figure out how to create a product? Or are they simply going to return that box back to Walmart and ask somebody else to put it together for them? As we give children complex assignments and we allow them to really wrestle with that topic, we're helping them problem solve. We have an entire generation of children who are used to high-stakes testing where one answer is correct. That's not the case in real life. There's not one answer to any problem. We all will approach education, we all will solve a problem with our unique background.
So I'll start really quickly. We have been in a restructuring and reorganization mode this year. First and foremost was to get my arms around our membership and understand who our investors were, why they exist, what they expect from us as the regional economic developer for 3,000 square miles of high desert, God's country, and open space. And then bring that back together and package it so that when we are out there promoting the Antelope Valley as the last best place in Southern California, people actually understand where we are and what we do. One of the first modes or things that I did was I put our map on the back of my card, because when I'm at conferences all over the country, people don't know where North Los Angeles County is. They're like, oh, LA. No, it's better than that. And so that was one of the first branding things that we did. And then secondly, Tom mentioned part of the investment that AVEK does with us every year helps us publish our roundtable report, and you guys have always been a great sponsor of ours. This document is truly our sales pitch and our story for the Antelope Valley. And this year we're going to expand that, because one of the things I've recognized in the 7 months I've been on board is that Southeast Kern hasn't been well represented. Southeast Kern is a huge part of our region. And if you look on our map, Mojave is the center of my universe and Ridgecrest is the top of my world. So we can't forget where Southeast Kern is and the communities that we represent in Southeast Kern. So with that, I have been fortunate to get the Kern County Commissioner's blessings, and they have just come on board as a new investor with Gavia, which they've never been investors before. So now we've got a partnership, a true private-public partnership with both of our counties and all 5 of our incorporated cities within our region. That's never been done before, and it's huge to me. Last week we had our quarterly economic update meeting in Mojave right at the Mariah Inn next to Mojave Air and Spaceport. And one of the reasons we did that was because we need to show not only the folks at Mojave Air and Spaceport, the 45 companies that are doing business there, but the whole rest of the region that we mean business when we're talking about Southeast Kern, and that we're not just giving that lip service. So I made a strategic effort to make sure that this September meeting was in Mojave, and it was the best attended meeting we've had in a long time. We had 82 people show up. Statewide director from the USDA was our keynote speaker, Dr. Humiston, and she has recognized also that USDA hasn't been serving us well in our region. And they have all this money and resources for business development and economic development, and no one knows how to access it. And that was the whole point of last week's meeting, was to bring Dr. Humiston here, have her be our keynote speaker, have her bring together the story about what USDA can do for us. And that's a huge part of what we need to do better as the economic developer for the entire region. Figure out how we help our businesses get the capital they need to grow their companies, or to expand what's already here, or recruit new companies to come. And so that's obviously part of my